Hi, Annissa Coy here with Firehouse Education and this week's Ask Annissa video column. And this week, our question came in from Joel. Joel sent me an email regarding a fire job and beads. And here is what his question is. Hello, Annissa. I want to first thank you for inviting our questions. As a newcomer to the restoration industry, it's great to have someone to reach out to for a professional opinion. My question has to do with contents from a house that recently suffered a fire. The homeowner designated a room in the house to crafting her jewelry. Unfortunately, smoke billowed into this room through the HVAC system. There are thousands of beads, shells, and other materials used to make jewelry on top of the hundreds of pieces of jewelry already made. What would be the most efficient way to handle this particular situation? Some of the jewelry doesn't look that valuable while others do. Any advice is welcomed. Thanks again, Joel. And Joel is in Eureka, California, and he is with New Life Service Company. So a couple things here, Joel. Beads and jewelry makings can definitely be very expensive, honestly. And the fact that you said she has thousands of pieces right there could really mean a large dollar amount that we're talking about. Maybe not one individual item is a large dollar amount or very expensive, but when you have thousands of them, even if they're only $5 a piece, you start to add up to some real big dollars that we're talking, all right? So there is definitely some great ways to handle this. This is why it's so important to pack on a content job like cleaning method. So most of the items in this room are going to be able to be what we call dipped in an ultrasonic machine, which is really the most efficient, best way to clean all of these little pieces. Now, some of the items are not going to be able to be dipped depending on what they're made of. So be sure that when you're packing in this room, pack items that can be ultrasonically cleaned in the same box. So if you don't own an ultrasonic machine, that is definitely something that you're going to want to look into getting. Doing contents, fire damage contents, it really is an absolute key piece of equipment that you need to be able to process things efficiently. Because again, these beads, to do thousands of little pieces like this, it's really easy, quick, and efficient to do in an ultrasonic machine. Obviously, cleaning them by hand would just be a nightmare and would not be efficient at all. So the other thing that you have to really think about here is maybe some of these items aren't high dollar items, but if they're pieces of jewelry that she made, there could be some really big sentimental and emotional value that this homeowner has to these pieces. So you want to be really careful about that. And some of the components to beading it can be very expensive. But the other thing I want to talk to you about, Joel, is the inventory that you're going to need to do in this room. Now, I hope you have a great program, maybe like Encircle that you're using to photo inventory this room. You are going to want to have some detail here and make sure that you've covered your bases that way, not only for your liability purposes, but for the reassurance of your homeowner, and so that she knows this room that I'm gonna guess is pretty special to her. If she has an entire room in her home set aside for her beading activity and jewelry making, this is probably something very important to her and special. So you really want to reassure her that you're going to have all this inventory done and you're going to keep track of everything. Now, some of these items may not be restorable. And so then again, you're going to want to have a good program that you can log these non-salvage or non-recoverable items so that hopefully her insurance policy will cover those and replace those for her. Okay. So again, detailed inventory. Be sure and pack a room like this. Is very important to pack it like cleaning method. And then be sure that you have the right equipment, like an ultrasonic machine. If you have any questions about what kind of ultrasonic machine or the size, reach back out to me. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about that. But there are several ones that are really good out there in the industry. There are actually several types of ultrasonic machines made out there in the industry. I know Fireline has one, Omegasonics has one, Marantz has one. and they're all very good, and I've actually used all of them. So if you have any other questions and you want to reach out to me, do so, and maybe I can hook you up with one of the manufacturers. All right. Well, I hope that answered your question. Thank you so much for sending me the email. Be sure you send those questions to Annissa@firehouseeducation.com, and I just might feature you on next week's Ask Annissa video column.